Greetings and salutations, my artsy friends. How is everyone this morning? It is so cold in my house. I have my little fingerless gloves on this morning because it is chilly willy in this house. Everybody make sure you have your drink. Oh, that water tastes so good this morning. How is everyone doing? Is everybody ready to get artsy? I sure am. I sure am. Hey, I wanted to talk about a couple of things. Well, you know, I always have a billion things to talk about, but trying to get this cord situated so it's not in our sight line. A couple things I wanted to talk about. Number one, I hope that everybody had a great weekend and a great New Year's. Ours was quiet and uneventful, as it always is. We're not go out on New Year's Eve kind of people. We had friends over for dinner, and then they went home about 8, and then we just watched TV. It was quite an easy evening. It was lovely. Good morning, Nancy. How are you? So glad to see you. So glad to see you. Anyway, I've been drawing like crazy. I've been drawing a bunch of things for our retreat and drawing a bunch of things for us. I wanted to talk about how I had talked about it during one of our paint parties last week. And then I talked about it again in the newsletter. If you haven't opened the newsletter, be sure to open the newsletter. There's one of the things with the company that I send my newsletters out through, the distribution people, if you don't open a certain amount of newsletters, then it will just bump you off, and then I can't put you back on the list. So be sure to open those newsletters because I can't control it. Whatever the algorithm system, whatever it is. And you know, I want you to see what I have to say. I try to not be too wordy. I try to have more pictures than words and more inspiration. I try to do that. But anyway, I wanted to talk this morning a little bit about that I chose a word for us, a one little word for us, the collective and Corbiere-Scott Designs artsy community, and it is blossom. And so I've come up with so many cool things that we're going to do throughout the entire year to blossom as humans, to blossom as artists, I have all kinds of things. So anyway, so first off, we're going to start out, our first blossom is the launch of January's new art printable, and it is called January Blossom. So they won't all be coveralls, but this one happens to be a coverall. If you're brand new here, if you would like, comment, subscribe, follow, and Corbiere-Scott Designs on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, I would greatly appreciate that. Then please ask to join our private Facebook group, Stitch Along with Anne, and Corbiere-Scott Designs private Facebook group for all things Anne and artsy, like today's art printable. Go to AnneCorbiereScottDesigns.com, and if you have something you want to talk to me about, send me an email at AnneCorbiereScottDesigns@gmail.com, or you can send me some snail mail to my P.O. Box. P.O. Box, it's Ann Corbiere-Scott Designs. P.O. Box 5391, Peoria, Arizona, 85345. Okay, so speaking of mail, I wanted to share a little bit of mail that I got this week. And they are so, oh my gosh, everything is so, I just love it. Okay, so, first up is from my friend Donna, and she sent a Christmas card. She said, I was planning on making Christmas cards, but life got in the way. But I did find the bookmarks I bought while we were in Portugal. I put them here. I put them where I wouldn't lose them. You know, we've all been there, right? Portugal is the capital, is the cork capital. So wait till you see this. Look at this bookmark. Isn't it gorgeous? It's very fine cork. You know how some cork is quite chunky? This is very fine, and isn't it gorgeous? So I'm going to be using that in one of the books that we read throughout the year. And look at this Santa sticker. I got to figure out a way to take this off and put it in my December daily, because stop it. Look at how cute he is. Just gorgeous. And then I got this Christmas card from our very own Debbie Pack. Look at how darling she and her husband are. Look at them. So cute. And then, all the way from Australia, I got this envelope from Jennifer. Jennifer has been part of my artsy community since the very start. And I am bringing her onto my design team because she does beautiful work, and we've developed quite a relationship. But I am really struggling to get her into my group, and I don't know what else to do. I'm trying all the things. And remember that we're like 12 hours different from each other time-wise, and so holy tamale, that is, yay. So I write her a note in the morning, and then I watch my email all day long to see when she gets up and so then, like, when it's time for me to go to bed, I go, okay, I'm heading to bed now. I'm sending her another message. It's just, I don't know what the dilemma is. I think I might be onto something, so fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Well, good morning, Sammy. Hey, Tess, how are you this morning? So good, I hope. Okay, so anyway, in this envelope, Jennifer sent me from Australia. Look at this. So, I got this darling, you know I love me a little bag. I love a little bag. And look at this Starry, Starry Night. So gorgeous. Okay, and inside was a gorgeous note. And then, look at this Starry, Starry Night pin that will go up on my, it will go on my pin board, but it will also, I wear these on my bib overalls a lot because, you know, look at that. So dang cute. I have worn bib overalls since high school. I was just having this conversation with my kid. And he was like, Mom, why do you keep wearing bib overalls? And I said, honey, I've worn them since high school. There's something about bib overalls for me. Everybody has their thing, right? Bib overalls for me are kind of my powerful pants. I don't know how to explain it, except that I just, like, they give me this sense of confidence that I just love them. I've loved them for a lot of years. Anyway, so I like to put little pins on my bib overalls because then, you know, That's a little something, something. Okay, and then look at these. So these are business cards, but stop it. Look at her. Isn't she gorgeous? Okay, so she says, Anne was out and about, and these caught my eye instantly, and my thoughts went straight to my faraway artsy guru. Just something to say thank you for. Thank you for being in my life, and your Aussie friend, Jennifer. Liberty, I've seen those. The ones I have right now are called Cedar, and then I have, you know, all kinds of others. But seriously, how fun was that to find in my mailbox? So today's art printable that I know you'll all go and purchase, because I have all kinds of artsy plans for this art printable. So this is a flower out of my imagination. Don't ask me if it's a particular, I don't know. But anyway, I thought that what we could do with this for today is we could paint it, and I have a whole list of techniques that I want to talk about that we can incorporate into today's painting project. I'm going to take these off now because I don't want to get paint on them. Okay, so I'll show you the one that I've already started, and I'll talk to you about where I'm kind of going with this. So I started painting with my big watercolor palette. But you could use whatever you're kind of feeling. So I started to paint one set with shades of purple, and I'll show you that in a minute. But I thought I need to just show you kind of where my head's at. So I'm feeling like let's do something kind of orangey. So I'm gonna activate all of my oranges here, some yellows, maybe a little bit of red. Yeah. And this, so remember last week we did an underpainting when we painted the, sorry you guys, I can't do two things at once. My poor noggin. So I'm going to start with this orangey yellow. And this is how I'm going to do an underpainting today. Today, we did them with the Karen markers, remember? And we did big swaths of color. Well, we did it when we did the, this is like my third iteration of underpainting. So, we did the Christmas, remember we did the poinsettias, and then last week we did the Timmy art printable, and this week we're doing this one. And I've done, each time I paint this in this method, I do it a little bit differently, and that's why I've talked to you a lot about doing a technique many times, playing with the technique many times. Deb, I just showed your Christmas card. So cute. So when I talk to you about playing with that technique many times, this is what I mean. So this time my underpainting is a bit more refined than, I've tightened it up a little bit more than I did with the poinsettias or the Timmy art printable. So if you remember, the poinsettias, I did very loose, right? And the Timmy, I did a bit tighter, right? But you see that we've started with the underpainting first, right? So today we're going to do a similar technique, but I'm changing it up ever so slightly. So I want you to think about that when you're creating with a new technique to you. Do it a bunch of times, because then the more you do it, the more it's kind of like in your noggin, right? So let's okay. So I just like to here we go. And just slowly start to build that underpainting. Yeah. And just remember that that you can continue to grow your painting, right? With each layer that you add. And the layers don't have to be the addition of just a little bit more paint or more pigment can have a tremendous effect on your imagery that you're painting. So I like to, like I said, I like to look at those petals. So I started out with yellow, and then I'm going to continue to build and build and build layers of color, right? So I'm going to show you what I'm doing on the purple version. So this is what I did, my first step. I painted all the yellow bits, right? And then I came in, so that's what I did with purple, right? So I came in and I did all kind of this lavender color. And then I came in with a deeper purple, right? And then I started to build up the, where the shadows are. We've talked about that so many times. Where one piece of something hits another piece, you know it's going to be dark. Look at just with my fingers. You see the dark line that appears. Think about it like that. So like we know this and here, that's going to be dark, right? So, and I also wanted to tell you that, so I had run out of purple here. And so I filled this pan. This was a Prima purple, but I found this Daniel Smith Ultramarine Violet, which is where I'm kind of going. I filled the pan. As you can see here, it looks different than everything else, right? I filled the pan. And then the trick is you need to let it dry out. Like, so leave your palette open until it dries completely. And then it will be just like any other pan watercolor. Okay, so I started to, and then I started to do the same thing with the leaves. So I painted the first layer on the leaves, my underpainting of the leaves, with this more yellow version of kind of an olivey green. Then I came in with this deeper green olivey green. And then I came over, okay, so I know right here is going to be deeper, right? But I want to, so I'm just kind of roughly adding that deeper olive green to the base of these leaves. And so this is how I'm going to get, oh, look at how dark that is. I'm going to get a way more painterly vibe, right? So remember what happens when we put way too much on? We can take our paper towel and just blot it, right? So now we can come in and just slowly build that deeper green. And so, and we just kind of roughly put that green down, and that's going to give us a really painterly vibe, because we're, some of that underpainting is going to peek through here and there, like you see here, 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 right? That's kind of the vibe we're going for. So now we have these leaves down here to do. It just knocks it down just ever so slightly. Do you see the growth that's starting to happen? Okay. Take that brush, dip it in water, then tap it off, and then let's use that to blend that out. So you'll notice this polka dotty background that I drew, because I just like that. I like when there's a little bit of visual interest besides the main, the stars of the show, the flowers, right? So there we go. Oh, let's do this. Stem. There we go. Okay, so while we're waiting for this to dry, we can start to think about where we want to go to continue our background. So part of me was thinking about, I have some areas that I can do the Jiggy Jaggy blend on while I'm chatting with you. Part of me was thinking about, I really like that, a technique that we used a long time ago. I'm going to help this out so we can talk about it. Right? So think about you're going to continue to, like when you put the darker color on top, then you're going to, like the flowers, I made a concerted effort that I just wanted to do the parts that I knew were going to be deeper. And that's the, right where the petals meet the center of the flower. I knew I wanted that to be deeper color. Okay, I think we're all dry. Okay, now, so I'm going to set these paints aside someplace. Okay, now I'm going to take some Wild Honey Distress ink and a blending tool. And you know I always store my blending foam on the bottom of my ink pad. Okay, so this is a technique that we did a long time ago where we stenciled some background. So because I already have circles, I think I want something a little more linear in my background. So I grabbed a bunch of different stencils. So I think this one's out because I already have circles. This one I think is out because it's big. Do you know what I mean? This one is more circles, but they're kind of small. So I might keep that on the back burner. Okay, that leaves me with these. I think I kind of dig this. Oh, maybe this. Kind of like that. Okay, so here's what you do. So we're going to get some ink on our blending tool, right? And then I like to start from the very side because then if I mess up, it's a part that's going to get chopped off anyway. So I'm going to take my stencil and I'm just going to start. The thing about this kind of a background is that you can kind of start and stop where you want it to be, right? You're going to go over some of your painting that's already there, but you can use the very edge of this blending sponge, right? And it doesn't have to be solid, or it can be if you want it to be, right? Do you see what that adds to this whole situation? Oh my gosh, it makes me so happy. Right? So I'm just gonna, and a little goes a long ways. I just want to knock down the white, the stark white a little bit. And if you have a stencil such as this that has kind of overall pattern, you don't have to match it up. It can be kind of, yep. However, there we go. Because we want it to kind of fade into the background of everything else. So when I chose the word blossom, I was really, this is a Tim Holtz, who knows what it is. I don't know. I could look it up. But it looks kind of, I don't know, like stringy. I don't know. I keep stencils forever and a day. If it's a pattern I like, I don't care if it's 20 years old. I just keep using it. There we go. So, hey, I was eating my breakfast this morning, and I was having a clementine. Look at this poor disintegrating, this poor disintegrating sponge. I might need to get a new one here. Oh, look at it. Oh my gosh. It's just, do you see how that just takes it to the next level? I love it so much. And it's such an easy thing to do. It's just such an easy technique. So you can be as heavy-handed or not with the with your background, right? It's up to you. You could do it over everything. So everything kind of has that vibe. You could do it over your flowers. You could do it, do you know what I mean? You could do whatever you want. It just adds like another level of, I don't know, visual interest, I guess. I just like, I just really like building layers and building layers of color and texture and visual interest. Like, it all makes me so happy. And like I said, it doesn't have to be like start and stop where the pattern matches up, because it's kind of such an open-ended, it is total artsy goodness, Peg. It doesn't have to be connected in any, do you know what I mean? The color and the pattern is going to connect, but the pattern doesn't have to connect. Oh my gosh. It's totally artsy goodness, Peg. Now I'm so happy. It's making me so happy. And I want dark spots and light spots. I want it to be all over the place, you know. So I hope that I will post the January calendar here on and Corbiere-Scott Designs, because next week I will be here on Tuesday, but I don't remember what time I fly out, but I'm going to see my parents in Michigan, and so I won't be teaching on those days that I'm not at home. It's just kind of easier to it's just too complicated. Do you know what I mean? I need to make the most of my time with my parents. Ooh, twisting. That's kind of cool. This is making me so happy. And I like that it's still quite, it's light enough that the white is still there. It's still certainly part of the entire work. Let's get a little bit more here. Yeah. Hey, I saw a cool thing. Oh my gosh, you guys, I have so many things to talk to you about. Okay, I heard the funniest song, and I think everybody should listen to it. And it's not a new song, so maybe you already know it. But it's by Casey Musgraves, who I just adore her. She's just as cute as can be. She had this song in 2015 called Biscuits. And there's a line in there that, oh my gosh, I just adore. It says, mind your own biscuits and life will be gravy. Kay, how are you, my sweet? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I am so happy you're here. I'm so, so happy you're here. So I am... So Kay, today's art printable is called January Blossom, because we're talking about blossoming, like you're going to blossom into a beautiful artist in the year of 2024. I want you to blossom as a human. I want you to blossom as an artist. I want to blossom as a human, and I want to blossom as an artist, and so I love that we could go on this adventure together, a year-long adventure. So I have all kinds of ideas of how we can incorporate blossoming into our lot. I know, I love that Casey Musgrave. She's so dang cute. And her songs are always a little bit cheeky, aren't they? But her voice is gorgeous. She I knew what you meant, sister. And I think she'd just like that we're talking about her. That's what I think. Okay, so I've painted my flowers with my watercolors, and I've created my background with my stencil and my distress inks and my crumbling sponge that's on my distress inks. Okay, so I want to continue to make this more artsy, right? So I'm going to take some water and just flick water, because that always like just opens things up. And I will say that I have found that it opens things up, like it has the greatest effect as if things are, look at my hands. If you've painted them kind of a deep color, right, you're going to have better results. But let's see what happens. Press our paper towel on there. So pretty. Right? We've got some little bits and bobs that are happening. Those little water spots are just going to add to the artsiness, right? And then I want to, and I might do that one again, you know. But now I'm really feeling like I want to do some gel pen mark making and refining. So I'm going to take my gel pen and prime it on my little piece of paper here with all my directions, and I want to do these little centers of the flower centers. I don't know, they're kind of pod-like. Who knows what I was thinking when I drew that. I see things everywhere that inspire me, and so it's all kind of a Mod Podge in my head. So just this little bit of gel pen is kind of defining things just a little bit more. And you could use whatever color gel pen you want. I'm just using white because it's, well, number one, it's right here on my desk. And it's the one that almost everybody has in their artsy arsenal, right? Let's just continue to do a little bit of pen work. I saw something earlier that I wanted to talk to you about. And it was posted by our very own Tammy. And it said, January 2nd. I will give all where I need to give my all. I will give my all where I need to give my all. I will let go where I need to let go. Oh, isn't that a good one? I felt like that one was just speaking to me this morning. So as I was, every morning I eat the same exact breakfast. I eat a scrambled egg every day. And I usually eat a banana. But I was having an artsy day with Joni and Carmen the other day. And they and Carmen, we always bring, like, everybody brings a little something to create a little lunch. And it's never, we have, it's not like we plan anything. It's just whatever you're feeling or whatever's in your fridge, or, do you know what I mean? There's no pressure, believe me. So I brought, I had these leftover rosemary crackers that we had over the holidays, and some little squares of Gouda cheese, and a couple slices of ham. See what I mean? Like, it's just craziness. And Carmen brought cuties. And I hadn't had one in a long time. And you know what? It just restored my love of cuties. They're so delicious. So I was doing a little research on the cuties, because I'm like, oh, I could eat those all winter long. And then I was like, what is cutie season? And are they all considered mandarin oranges? Because my mother-in-law was asking me that. And so I did a little deep dive, because you know how we do. So I found out that cuties are mandarin oranges and clementines are mandarin oranges. But there's two different kinds of, where's my cuties paper? There we go. There's two different kind of mandarins. There's the clementine mandarins, which are, their peak season is from November to January. And then there's W. Murcott mandarins, which are, their peak season is February to April, which I thought was kind of interesting. And if you eat that, 2 cuties are considered a serving size. And that if you eat those, they are full of fiber, and they are, oh my gosh, I'm loving it so much, you guys. Little by little by little. And 1.3 grams of fiber. Oh, everybody, we need to take a drink. Okay, I do have this purple, this lavender. Let's see what I can do with that. I might just do some dots up here on these buds that haven't bloomed yet. You know it, sister. So, for Thursday's art journaling class, I want you to, I know they're so delicious, aren't they? They're so delicious, Valerie. Okay, so for Thursday's art journaling class, let's talk about that really quick. We're using a composition book again, and we are going to print out 2 copies of January Blossom on copy paper, and then we're going to color it however we see fit, and then we will adhere it to our, that's what we're going to do in Thursday's class. We're going to adhere it to our next year, our 2024 art journal. I have already gone through and glued every 2 pages together, so I have a little bit of thickness. So I did the whole thing. And you know what? I just did it while I was sitting chatting with Joni and Carmen the other day. You could do it while you're watching TV. That's an easy peasy, lemon squeezy thing to do. And then, if you want to get the most painty bang for your buck, you're going to coat each page with transparent watercolor ground. There's a link for that on my website under Anne's Artsy Arsenal. Watercolor ground is going to turn each page into having the properties of watercolor paper. It's never going to be like the thickness of watercolor paper or the complete absorbency, but it's going to add so much more absorbency than just composition book paper. And it's going to make that your page receive any kind of water soluble medium in a way better way. So this is certainly worth the investment. Transparent watercolor ground, because then you're going to continue to see your whether it's college ruled or wide ruled or grid, whatever you're gonna, so you have that first layer of whatever we create, right? So that's what I'm gonna do on all of the pages of my composition book. What were the other things I wanted to talk about? Can I tell you, I peeled that clementine this morning, like about 6:30, and I can still smell it because I put the peels in my sink, because then I'll put them down the disposal, because it just brightens it, and oh my gosh, that smell is so delightful. Oh, I read something that I thought was so interesting. They talked about how, how today would be page 2 of 365 days of this a 365 day long book. And it said 365 new days, 365 new chances. And I thought that was brilliant. Okay, so I'm going to read from this book today. Well, then you're all set, Valerie. You're ready to go. So you need to get the January Blossom Art Printable and print it 2 times on copy paper and cover it with watercolor ground. Also, both of those with watercolor ground too. And then we will work on that. Okay, here we go. We are in Daily Joy. January 1. So we'll just read both of them. And now let us welcome the new year, full of things that have never been. Come on. That's a good one, right? And then let's do January 2. Just where you are, that's the place to start. Come on. That was brilliant. I loved it. I loved it. And I also wanted to read the first page of The Pivot Year, because I thought that it was interesting. It kind of spoke to me. The courage with which you enter today will be the fate that you meet tomorrow. Will you continue to replay the memories of yesterday, or will you meet the moment and make the most of what is in front of you now? Not so that you might force your will upon your fate, but arrive fully into each moment as it's presented to you. Not to build a clean one-line story, but to create a mosaic of experience, ever forming, ever evolving, ever unfolding, as what's within unravels into reality, revealing at last fragrant, I'm thinking of those oranges, revealing at last the fragment of the universe that came to be known through you at this exact time, in this exact place, in this exact form. You are exactly where you need to be. This is the perfect day to start your life again. Oh my gosh. You guys, that one was brilliant, wasn't it? Seriously, it's so good. It's so good. I had the fish in here. Anyway, The Pivot Year. 365 days to become the person you truly want to be. It was recommended by quite a few people, and I'm kind of digging it. So let's see. So I'm kind of, I started with my purple gel pen. Let's see. Sometimes I like to do gel pen dots, even when it's kind of the same color, like there's not a lot of contrast, because it adds that little bit of texture, right? Because it's going to dry. Look at that. It's going to just add some little bits of something going on there. So I'll just continue to do that. I just like to add them randomly. I wonder what would happen if I added like a dot. Oh, shush up. Randomly in the, look, in the very center of those white. It looks a little eyeballish, but I think we can make that work, right? There we go. So be thinking about what colors you want to paint your blossoms for your art journal cover for the whole year of 2024. I don't know what, I'm feeling like I want to do kind of a combination of mediums. I'm not exactly sure just yet, so I will, I'm loving it so much. I'll be pondering it. Ponder what colors you want to choose. Oh, there we go. I just like to continue to layer and layer and layer and layer. And just know I have so many blossomy things for us to do this year. There we go. Ways to continue to grow the word blossom into our being for the whole year. Like, it just makes, it is the, I just grow so much as a person each time I choose a word. And I thought, wouldn't it be a fun experiment for us to all have the same word and to grow in that way? I think that would be super fun. Okay, let's see. What do we want to do now? How am I doing on time? Am I doing okay? Everybody take a drink. I have these two gray gel pens. I thought they might be kind of a fun thing to play with. Something like at the center of these, where the petal meets the center of the flower. That might be kind of fun to grow. I'm loving it. So has anybody heard that song Biscuits before? It's so good. Do you know when you hear a song and you're like, oh, where has that been all my life? Think about, I don't know, maybe there's songs that you've been kind of introduced to in whatever way. Sometimes I'm introduced to them like I'm sitting in a restaurant and they're playing it over the radio or something. I just love the impact that music can have to us. You know? I told you, Teddy Swims, remember I've talked about him a couple times. He has a song out called Amazing, and I bet you've heard it. I'm not going to sing it because you know I get in trouble when I try and sing, but just Google it. See if you know that song, and it's, oh, his voice is so gorgeous. I think you'll like it, Nancy. I was thinking that we should, does everyone have Spotify? I was thinking we might do a Blossom playlist for us to all listen to as we create. Doesn't that sound fun? Oh, look at that. That's just adding a little something, something, isn't it? That's making me happy. Doesn't that sound great, Kay? So be thinking of some songs that you want included on the playlist, and I'll create the playlist. Right, Tessa? All about a playlist. Me too, Peg. I just love it. So be thinking about what you want to, so I'm going to add some of this gray with the, purple gel pen bits and pieces. So think about some songs that you want to, I swear, that Biscuit song. And you know what? The line, I will tell you, the line that did it for me was the main line of the song, the refrain of the song that says, mind your own biscuits and life will be gravy. So it's really about mind your own beeswax, you know? That people need to just, you do you and I'll do me. Oh my gosh, it was just, I loved it so much. Live and let live. That is certainly my mantra. Oh my gosh, this is making me so happy. I don't know. Oh, I have this. I don't have the right green in the gel pen, but look, I have this Le Pen that's like the right green. So this is absolutely mixed media. So let's do a little stippling here. That stippling, I'm telling you, it will add the most, oftentimes it's quite subtle, but it will add some really nice dimension to your artwork, whatever your art piece that you're working on. It's kind of a, it's so funny. When I was art school, we didn't call it mark making, but that's kind of what it is. I told you about that assignment that I had in art school that was, I'll bring that painting, I'll bring that piece of artwork down. It was way cuter in my mind's eye, but doesn't that happen? I know, Peg, right? And don't you see like 1 billion applications for just the stenciled layer? Just the stenciled layer. You're going to do 1 million applications of that. I like to work on And this is so fun to do over the layers of paintiness. I think it just gives you a little something more to look at, you know? And I just like to be a little bit randomly strategic. Does that make sense? Like, I know I want to darken this little crook in this leaf right here. So I'll do a little bit of stippling there, but nothing too much. And down here, I know this is going to be dark, right? This whole area. So I'm just going to random. So I did this. So in art school, I did this drawing of Joan Crawford, and the entire piece is stippling. And I just pulled it out. I had talked about it a long time ago, but I never ended up pulling it out. But I just pulled it out the other day. It's so cool to see like where you were artistically then, like what was kind of in your mind. Oh my gosh, I'm loving it so much. So here, I think I want to do here because that's deeper green right there. And you can do as much or a little of this as you wish. And like I said, so be thinking about songs that you want to add to the playlist, and leave me a note somewhere and I will. But let me know that you left me a note. Maybe you could email it to me, or we can start I don't know, like a list somewhere that we can add to. And remember, it doesn't have to be something that like you just discovered. Maybe it's just a song you really like, or a song that really helped you blossom. Because remember, 2024 is the year of the blossom. And we are all going to blossom. And that's not to say that everything's going to be hunky-dory the whole time. It won't. Sometimes during some of my toughest trials and tribulations is where I actually blossomed more. I'm not saying I'm wishing that upon myself or any of you. I'm just saying. Everybody take a drink. It happens. I could do this forever and a day. I love it so much. Okay. I know I'm over. Always am. So just look at the wide array of art supplies on your desk. And how can you add little bits and pieces of that? Do you know what I mean? What can you do to add little bits and pieces of that to your creation? I'm just drinking plain old water today. Just Kirkland alkaline water. Costco special. Okay, I have this, I think it's ochre, this gel pen. I was thinking about, I wonder if I do a little bit on the outside of the flower to kind of frame out some bits. Okay, for real, I'll say goodbye now. I adore you all. I will talk to you soon. See you tomorrow, Valerie, in Stitch Along at 9 o'clock. And then I will see everybody again on Thursday for art journaling. And remember to print this 2 times on copy paper and coat it with watercolor ground. And then we will paint. Think about what color you want to do. I adore you all. Thanks so much, everyone. Talk to you soon. Bye.